Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles, except, well, this probably isn't like any version of World of Tanks you have ever seen. Not the vast majority of you anyway, but those of you who play World of Tanks on the console, this is probably looking very, very familiar. This is World of Tanks console version, and I think this is, well, I know this is the first time I've ever featured a World of Tanks console replay here on my YouTube channel. And the question does get raised quite a lot, surprisingly so, by World of Tanks Xbox and PS4 players. Jingles, how can I send you one of my replays from the console? And to be completely honest, I had absolutely no idea. I didn't think you could. Surely a PS4 replay file isn't going to work on a PC. Well, it turns out no, it isn't, and that's why the console players don't actually have replay files in the same way that we do. In fact, they don't have any kind of replay system whatsoever. So when a World of Tanks console player is talking about a replay, what they're actually talking about is a video file of their own gameplay that they've recorded using third-party video recording software. And that's exactly what this is, sent in by the Beard guys, who are World of Tanks EU console version community contributors. I actually had the pleasure of joining them on Twitch for their Christmas live stream last month. Well, I say joining them, I was chatting with them, I wasn't playing, obviously I don't own a console. And I met them for the first time at TankFest last year. Now, when I did watch their live stream just over Christmas, it was the very first time I'd ever seen any kind of World of Tanks console gameplay. And a couple of things reached out and grabbed my attention straight away. First, you can see how Don Tomo here is using tactics that are going to be immediately recognisable to World of Tanks PC players. He's sitting behind a bush so he's not detected. And when that Cromwell popped up, he didn't just immediately blaze away and give his position away. He pulled back so that the bush became opaque, he couldn't see through it, and that meant it was safe for him to fire through it, just as happens in World of Tanks PC. But there are lots of other things that are fairly exclusive to World of Tanks console. Check out the gun barrel, the 17-pounder gun barrel on the Sherman Firefly that just drove past. Did you see how there was a sort of camouflage pattern on the end of the gun? That's actually historically accurate. Something that happened during World War II was that Sherman Fireflies noticed that they were being targeted as a priority ahead of the regular non-17-pounder armed Shermans in their platoons. And so they took steps to try to disguise the gun barrel. And that appears, I could be wrong, but it appears to be the default camouflage pattern for the Sherman Firefly here in World of Tanks console. Also, and possibly slightly more obviously, is the tank that Don Tomo is driving. That is an AMX Chaffee. What the hell is an AMX Chaffee when it's at home, Jingles? Bloody good question. It's a Chaffee with an AMX 1375 turret and gun. That right there is a German captured KV-1 with a 57mm gun. And Don Tomo, in his AMX Chaffee, is about to come under fire from and get hit by a hammer. What the hell is a hammer when it's at home? Good question. It's a premium Tiger variant, and it's not the only premium Tiger variant available in World of Tanks console. They also have the Tank Museum at Bovington's very own Tiger 131. It just doesn't seem fair. These console peasants get all kinds of weird and wonderful machines that we just don't get on the PC. Or in some cases they get all kinds of machines that we used to get on the PC but we don't have access to anymore. Machines like the Russian Tier 5 light tank, the infamous T-50-2. Also, do you remember the 100th anniversary of the tank celebrations? The Mark I tank escort mission that we did have for a very limited time on World of Tanks PC. Now, we in the glorious PC Master Race didn't actually get to drive the Mark I tank. Instead, we were driving Rolls-Royce armoured cars, and we were either attacking or escorting the Mark I. But these console peasants get the Mark I tank as the British Tier 1 tank. Anybody can play it. I feel vaguely cheated. I shall write a sternly worded letter of complaint to my Member of Parliament immediately. There are all kinds of differences between the PC and the console versions of World of Tanks, not least of which, for me at least, is that on the console you have to play with the controller. And that's something I've never been able to get to grips with. I can remember clearly several years ago when a friend who played Call of Duty on the PlayStation came around and was watching me playing Call of Duty on the PC, and he couldn't believe how easily I was able to pull off headshot after headshot of enemy soldiers using the keyboard and mouse. He was convinced I was using some kind of aimbot. And yeah, I mean, there are differences between the console and PC versions of World of Tanks, but there are a lot of similarities as well. At the end of the day, it's the same game. And if you're at home watching a World of Tanks PC replay, you're going to be equally at home watching a World of Tanks console replay. Once you get through the differences in the UI, which are obviously a little more, I want to use the word kiddie friendly, because I'm a member of the glorious PC Master Race, and I have to take the opportunity to mock the Console Peasants every chance I get. But again, you have to realise that the user interface here in World of Tanks console is designed to be played on a large screen TV that isn't going to have the same resolution, for example, as a big old PC monitor. And I actually quite like that, because it makes it less likely that I'm going to get stuff wrong. Nice little kill on the Cromwell there. I find that I'm watching this particular video in my little old preview window in my editing software, and I can actually follow what's going on. I don't have to squint at the screen in the same way that I do when I'm watching a mega high resolution PC replay, for example. There's the enemy hammer, for example. Premium Tiger variant exchanging fire with the friendly Tiger on Don Tomo's team. Hellcat up there, perilously low on health. He's a one shot for just about anybody on the enemy team, and they are outnumbered 2-1 here, I should point out. The enemy also have 3 artillery. So Don Tomo is rushing up. They're trying to spot targets for that Hellcat over there. He's leaving the 2 Tigers to blaze away at each other, and there's the Snakebite Cromwell. Gives it lots of lead, and what a shot! Oh, that was pretty impressive. Aside from all that, however, that did highlight the one thing so far that I've seen that I definitely prefer in the World of Tanks PC version over console, and that's because just as Don Tomo took out that Cromwell Snakebite, the friendly Hellcat also got taken out. But we don't know what he got taken out by. The combat message just said Killer B destroyed the Hellcat. Well, that's fantastic, but what machine is Killer B driving? It would tell you that in World of Tanks PC. And even if you missed the combat message, you've got the team lists on both sides of the screen, so you will know straight away that Killer B is in an Su-85. And that can help with locating what position Killer B must have fired from in order to be able to kill the Hellcat. Now, you can get that information in World of Tanks console by holding down whichever button opens up your map screen, because the team lists are there. But you don't really want to be doing that when you're engaged in a life or death pursuit with an FV304. Not to mention the Type 58 who's coming over the hill to back him up. Because if you were to do that in this situation, to figure out who it was that killed the Hellcat, well, you'd just die, because you wouldn't be able to see where you were going. More importantly, you wouldn't be able to shoot at the tanks that are shooting back at you. Now, the Type 58's caught him on the reload. He wasted a lot of ammunition firing on the move against that FV304, but he's almost reloaded. He's got some cover between himself and the Type 58. Has to keep moving, however, waiting for the Tiger to turn up, because there are still 2 artillery on the enemy team. Now, the Tiger does not have a lot of health, and the Type 58 does have a pretty high penetration gun. But between the 2 of them, they managed to take him out. That's his 4th kill. Unfortunately, any second now, combat message pops up. The Tiger's just been taken out by Killer B. That's him in the Su-85. Now we know that for sure. Right. Well, Don Tomo's reloading. He's now alone against 3 enemy tanks. The good news, 2 of them are artillery. The bad news, one of them's an Su-85, and, well, the guy just has to fart in his general direction to kill him. He's on such low health. You'll note he's also had his fuel tank damaged. Not that that's really going to matter at this stage, because if he gets hit hard enough to wreck his fuel tank and set him on fire, he's going to be dead anyway. Don Tomo is doing what any good light tank driver will do when faced with superior enemy firepower. He's getting the hell out of there. He knows that the Su-85 is likely to be hiding in a bush with a gun pointed in his last known position, so he's not going to be anywhere near his last known position. Instead, he's working his way around the flank, looking for that Su-85, hoping he's going to be still covering where he was last spotted. Oh, there he is. Su-85 only has 208 metres of view range. Has him spotted, didn't get spotted himself, pulls back behind the bush, so he remains unspotted and just executes the Su-85. Kill number 5, just the 2 artillery remaining. Still reloading after killing the Su-85, that's when he spots the M44, and initially I thought the M44 must have had 6th sense, because I didn't think Don Tomo had been spotted, but that's because the 6th sense icon appears next to the damage panel, not above the crosshair, the way it does in World of Tanks PC. So the M44 knows he's coming. Unbelievably, Don Tomo fires twice on the move and takes him out, avoiding the shotgun. M41 also spotted, tries a shot which goes absolutely miles wide, and in a complete reversal of what you just saw happen with the M44, stationary, aiming, Don Tomo unleashes multiple shots at the M41, and it's only the last two that actually strike home. So there's another similarity between World of Tanks Console and World of Tanks PC. They have exactly the same RNG that we do. 2 shots fired on the move were enough to kill a full health tier 6 American artillery, but 4 shots fired stationary and aiming, with 2 of them hitting, were not enough to kill a tier 5 American artillery. Still, Don Tomo's reloaded, and he knows where the M41 is. Well, that's not strictly true. He knows where the M41 was. It's not quite Bert the Avenger, that little thing, but it's quick. It only has a 263 horsepower engine, but it weighs less than 20 tons, and it can do over 56 kilometers per hour. So Don Tomo is going to be spending quite some time trying to track that little bugger down. Time which we can use to actually talk about the tank that he's driving, the AMX Chaffee. A work of fiction, I hear you claim. Well, not really. This thing did actually exist, even if only in prototype form. After World War II, the French government found themselves in possession of a huge number of M24 Chaffee light tanks. And while the Chaffee's 75mm gun was pretty versatile, it had a useful armour-piercing round and a pretty good high-explosive round, its armour penetration wasn't really up to the standards required to deal with late-war tanks, machines like the Panther or even later versions of the T-34. The French, instead, wanted to fit their SA-50 high-velocity 75mm gun to this machine, and in order to do that, they equipped it with the oscillating turret from the AMX 1375. Only one prototype was ever made, and it never entered mass production. Oh, there's the M41. And he's missed. Didn't get spotted though, although it's a reasonable assumption that the M41 knows pretty much exactly where the shot came from. And he's off again. So once again we're chasing him around the houses. Somebody's pinging the map there. I think this is a no shit Sherlock moment for Don Tomo here. He's chasing this guy down. One shot's going to kill either of them, and well, let's not forget the M41's artillery, and the AMX Chaffee is a light tank. He doesn't have to hit him to kill him. Close enough will do. Where did the little bugger go? Oh, ambush, shotgun, missed, and he's got him. The quarterback is toast, and the crowd goes wild. 7 kills. Now, 7 kills would be a Top Gun in World of Tanks. I don't know if they have the same award system here in World of Tanks Console. Let's see. So, First Class Mastery Badge. That looks like a 2nd Mark of Excellence on his barrel. I think I see a Pascucci's medal there. Let's have a look. Yep, Pascucci's medal. A Devastator medal. Don't even know what that is. That must be a console-only thing. Unless, of course, it is also a World of Tanks PC, and I've just displayed my ignorance yet again. I don't know. But yeah, not a bad little game there from Don Tomo in the AMX Chaffee on World of Tanks console version. The first World of Tanks console replay, even though it's not actually a replay, it's a video capture, that I've ever featured on this channel. Now, I don't expect to be making a habit out of it, so I don't want all new console players suddenly deciding to send me 3 GB video files overnight. But it's nice to see how the other half lives, even if it's only once. So that was Don Tomo from the Beard Guys, World of Tanks EU Community Contributor for World of Tanks Console, playing a pretty impressive little game in the World of Tanks Console only AMX Chaffee French light tank. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, I've done it again. It's not the M41, is it? That's the M44. He just killed the M41. I'm sitting here saying I actually quite like the user interface here on the console. It makes it easier for me with my dodgy old eyes to figure out what's going on in the editing preview window, and I've still gotten it wrong.